It's been a while since I've done a full-length video, and this one may not be too long, but I wanted to address the subject of cotton fabric holding natural color better if it has been pre-treated with a mordant. This question came up in the comments on a different video, and I've done something like this with hibiscus, but this time I am going to be using elderberries. I purchased a bag of dried elderberries for health reasons, and of course, given the color, I could not resist using them to make dye as well. Now, as you may know, if you have any experience with naturally dyeing cotton, it will hold color much better if it's pre-treated. It's cellulose fiber, and it doesn't hold the color as well as protein fibers like wool or silk. So cotton could stand to be pre-treated, but as you see right here, this piece will it will take up the color pretty well, but when it comes to rinsing it, most of it will just rinse right out. So just kind of want to show the difference when you do not use mordant, and also in my case I'm going to use mordant as well as tannin. So not using it versus using it. And I have boiled these elderberries. I'm making a mess here, but I boiled them and then strained them. And elderberries, if you let it soak long enough, actually I did not boil these. I left these in the sun now that I remember, but you can boil it, you can leave it in the sun. Even probably just cold, it'll take the color up. So you saw the first piece where it was not pre-treated, and then this piece has been pre-treated with avocado liquid. So I boiled avocados and soaked the fabric in that because it's a good source of tannins, which are useful for dyeing cotton fabrics. And I also, after that, I soaked it in a solution of alum. It's been so long since I've made a talking video that I can't remember my terminology and things. But so one piece has not been pre-treated. It's just a piece of cotton fabric, and then one piece was pre-treated with avocado and alum dissolved in hot water. And then I just left these in the sun for a few days. The sun was pretty intense on that day. Really helped with the color absorption. And now this is, although I recorded this a while ago, I remember this being very, very hot. So the sun was really working this day. But this is the piece that was not pre-treated. And you see it looks pretty good. And let's check out the one that was pre-treated. Now look at that. Look how much more rich the color is, how much deeper it is. All for having been pre-treated. So that's the difference when you pre-treat fabric, particularly cotton fabric, and when you don't. So that other part was before the fabric was rinsed, and this was rinsing. So with the bottom one that was pre-treated, you see it's not as dark as it was, but it still holds the color better than the top one. And that will happen, like some of the good deep rich color will wash out with cotton fabrics, but you still have good color. And now I'm going to dye another piece that's been pre-treated because I want to do like a color. I want to dye it in 2 different colors. So first I'm going to dye it in this elderberry dye, and then I will dye it in turmeric. I've done something like this before with turmeric, and maybe it was like blackberries. I can't remember what it was. Could have been Java, something that looks similar to this. And then it gave a really pretty outcome. So I first dyed it with the elderberry dye, and then now I am just going to bind this fabric, kind of doing some tie-dye or like shibori, using string here, and I'm just going to bind it up and then dip it in, or let it rest in turmeric dye. Hold on one second.
Close it. Mama, there's a big piece of grass.
I'm gonna get it. And here is the finished product of the fabric first being dyed with elderberry dye and then turmeric. Now the color isn't as dark here for the elderberry because I did not leave it in the dye as long as I did the other, and then with rinsing a lot of the color did wash out, but so that part can be improved. But I just wanted to experiment again and show you how pre-treating cotton fabric can help it absorb color better. So hope this was helpful. Please let me know if you have questions. Thanks for watching.